Hello guys, new video. We are going to analyze how and why RLUSD, which is a stable coin from XRP, um, will not increase the velocity of XRP, but contrary to what many people believe, it will decrease the velocity of XRP, increasing the price of the asset. People believe that because RLUSD is a high velocity stable coin, it will decrease the price of XRP because you're going to have to buy RLUSD, and RLUSD is constantly being moved. But I'm going to present you the reason why it's not the case, and it will decrease the. So, for example, I made a presentation here. RLUSD and XRP operate in complementary domains within Ripple Enterprise. So RLUSD increases payment transaction or inside the PQ through PQ, increases the transaction of the PQ, while XRP provides settlement depth. So their interaction accelerates corridor activation, deepens liquidity requirements, and drives XRP velocity into the institutional range. If you've been watching my previous videos, you know the institutional velocity is 0.03, 0.01. Those are the ranges that we are going to be seeing, and we want XRP to be. So here's what the distinct velocity domain. There's a distinction between both. RLUSD, high velocity payment token, functions USDC, USDT. It functions in the same way of any other stablecoin. Designed for constant circulation. High velocity, example, 50 to 100. I would say that the velocity of our RLUSD at the moment is 71, 70, but it's in the range. It's normal and it's expected. XRP on the other side is low velocity settlement asset. So it's being held in buffers, reserves, institutional inventory, institutional custody. Settlement velocity collapses into the 0.03, 0.05, which is institutional velocity. And 95%, as I explained in my previous videos, of XRP remains being held untouched, and only 5% or less actively moving. That's what sets the 5%, 0.05. You see, 95% is being held, not being used, and 5% it's being moved. What does it mean? RLUSD velocity does not raise XRP velocity. They operate in separate functional layers. For example, RLUSD expands PQ payment quantity. RLUSD increases the amount of value entering the network, right? The throughput. A compliant unit of account, it's a new inflow and outflow path. New routing options, new liquidity pools are being created because in order just to move that, you need a liquidity pool, new institutions, entry points. And basically, it creates new corridors. So what we want is new corridors also entering the XRP system. It doesn't matter if it goes through the XRP ledger or through corridors. More corridors, more increase for the PQ, the global settlement. So that means that the PQ will rise on the payment layer because there's more data coming in, more information, more corridors, more money. Let's put it this way. XRP deepens settlement reserves. As PQ rises, the system must increase XRP settlement capacity. Larger corridor buffers, more XRP in custody, more XRP in market maker inventory, more XRP preposition for settlement timing. This forces XRP velocity down, not up. PQ increases, velocity goes down, and the supply also remains fixed or keeps decreasing every time. So RLUSD will act as a corridor multiplier. RLUSD does not compete with XRP. It creates new corridors and activates pre-corridors, liquidity seeding, routing tests, compliance checks, buffer sizing, throughput simulation. Every RLUSD requires additional XRP reserve. CBDCs amplify the same effect. If banks or central banks choose XRP as the neutral bridge, as we know they will, every CBDC corridor requires XRP liquidity. Every cross-currency CBDC transaction touches XRP. It changes from one currency to the other one. CBDCs increase PQ dramatically. CBDCs force deeper XRP custody, and CBDC push XRP velocity further into the institutional band, decreasing the velocity. So CBDCs equals new corridors, expanded PQ, and deeper reserves of XRP. So this is basically what they do. RLUSD and CBDCs, in the same way that RLUSD or stablecoins are flowed, CBDCs are flowed. XRP acts as a reserve, it's a reservoir. So more flow, larger reservoir, lower velocity, higher valuation under PQ, V, and S. That's the formula that I need you to understand before getting into this video. So basically, let's make a resume of this, a synthesis. RLUSD increases the transaction, CBDCs expands the PQ, XRP deepens the settlement or the custody. So transaction rising forces settlement depth to rise, collapsing the XRP velocity into the institutional levels, and it strengthens the systemic role of XRP. So basically, here's what I need you to understand and why RLUSD will not increase. XRP, as I said, RLUSD will only be operating in the 5% or in the 3% of what moves, not on the 95% that's being held. So it doesn't increase at all the XRP because the movement, the high velocity, also operates in the 5% of what's being used in the XRP system. That's the reason why.